Okay, so if you've been anywhere near the news lately, you know the situation with Iran's nuclear facilities. It's been absolutely front and center.
Mm-hmm. Hard to miss.
These really dramatic events have unfolded, and frankly, they've left a lot of questions. What actually happened? What does this mean for, well, global stability?
Yeah.
So today, here on the Deep Dive, we're going to try and cut through some of that noise.
Right.
Our mission really is to sift through all the reports, the different perspectives, and give you the clearest possible understanding.
And to do that, we've really pulled from quite a mix of sources, Al Jazeera, Fox News, The Guardian, Reuters, and also that detailed analysis from Understanding War.
That's important.
It really is. You have to synthesize information from all these angles, especially when the narratives can be so different, sometimes, honestly, flat out contradictory.
Exactly. Which is why we want this deep dive to be your kind of shortcut, your guide to getting a handle on this really complex, really critical international issue. We're here to help you grasp the key facts, sort of untangle the different stories being told without just drowning you in data.
Right. Make sense of it all.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Start with the baseline.
Yeah.
What do we actually know for sure about these recent aerial attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities?
Well, the consistent reports across the board seem to confirm severe damage. And significantly, Iran, Israel, and the U.S. have all, in one way or another, acknowledged this.
Okay. And which sites are we talking about specifically?
The ones mentioned most consistently are Fordo and Natanz.
Right. Fordo's the underground one, Natanz the main complex.
Exactly. Fordo is one of their key underground enrichment spots, and Natanz is the primary enrichment facility. And we've heard some pretty bold claims from both Israeli and American sources.
The one saying this pushes back Iran's program by years.
That's the line, yes. Push back by years. Strong language.
Okay, but here's where it starts getting, well, really interesting. Maybe murky is the word. Because those initial claims, they were almost immediately challenged, weren't they? Different interpretations of the actual impact.
Precisely. That's the crux of it. You had, for instance, a leaked U.S. intelligence report pop up. And that suggested these attacks would only slow down nuclear capabilities for some months.
Wow. Okay. Months versus years. That's a huge difference.
A massive difference. And then contrast that with, say, Donald Trump's assertion. We saw reports quoting him saying the damage was complete destruction.
Complete destruction. So years, months, complete destruction.
It really shows you the range. And, the gap between these assessments often tells you as much about the source and their agenda, perhaps, as it does about the actual damage.
How so?
Well, think about it. A leaked intel report might prioritize a cautious technical assessment, very measured. Whereas a public statement from someone like Trump, well, that could be more strategic, right? Aimed at shaping perceptions, projecting strength, maybe less tied to the precise technical details.
So it's not just conflicting data, it's about how information gets used or maybe weaponized in these situations.
Exactly. It's a classic example of how information is filtered or framed in geopolitics.
And then you add the UN nuclear folks into the mix. What do they say?
Right. The UN nuclear agents on the ground, or at least assessing it, they described the damage they could see specifically at Fordo as very significant.
Okay, very significant. That sounds serious.
It does. But crucially, they also added that the exact situation remains unclear.
So another layer of uncertainty. We've got complete destruction some months and very significant but unclear.
It absolutely creates confusion if you're trying to track this.
Yeah, okay.
But understanding why these different takes exist, the motivations behind them, helps you evaluate the whole event more critically. It's about seeing the lens each piece of info comes through.
Got it. Okay, so moving beyond the immediate strikes, what happened right after? We heard about a temporary truce.
Yes, that seemed to emerge after about 12 days or so of pretty intense conflict or heightened tension. A temporary truce was established.
And did things actually calm down?
It seems so, at least outwardly. We saw